Hello, and welcome to Conversations Worth Having. My name is Kai, and I'm the proud creator of this podcast. With me is my incredible mentor, Tara, and today's topic focuses on our why of this podcast. Why did we even want to create this? We will be telling the listeners about ourselves and who we are. Let's start here. Tara, tell us a little about yourself. What do you do, where you're from, etc., and what do you want to share with our listeners today?
Thank you, Kai. You're so wonderful and kind. So, my name is Tara. I am a marriage and family therapist in Southern California. I live in San Diego County. I grew up in the military. My dad's Air Force. We were lucky though; we didn't have to move around too much. But so I grew up mostly in Southern California. My family's in Minnesota, from all over. I've got two kids. My son is married and exploring the world. My daughter will be graduating high school here soon. Very proud of her. I love the work I do. I work with a lot of couples, I work with individuals, helping with transitions, and life is good. Love going to the beach. Just love enjoying life. And I'm
I
very
love it.
excited to be working with you, Kai. So, because this is your baby and you're very excited about it. So, I'm happy to be here and supporting.
I am sweating through my pants, and that is okay because I'm wearing red lipstick and I fake it till I make it. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about how me and Tara met and a little introduction of myself as well. I'm Kai Moon, and it's important to note that I am Estonian because your heritage is extremely important. And the reason for that is because Estonians have no filter whatsoever. It doesn't matter if you have feelings. Usually Estonians say it how it is. And me and Tara met like over 10 years ago because she was my incredibly MFLAC, so military family life counselor, all the way going back in California when I was a brand new military spouse, really struggling with loneliness. Uh, Definitely at the time popping Xanax like it's going out of style just so that I wouldn't have to deal with the fact that now I live in the desert. And Tara helped us, me and my husband, with the military transition, loneliness, my GAD, which is generalized anxiety disorder that I struggle with every day still over 20 years now. But I really am able to mask it because of a lot of therapy that I've done with incredible people. But the most incredible therapist in my life has always been Tara. I've seen many therapists, and they are amazing, but they don't have the calling the way Tara has. Tara has the calling for
Fine.
therapy, and she is absolutely fantastic. So if you're in the state of California or in San Diego area, I'm just letting you know you need to contact Tara. But I am Estonian. I have two incredible children. I'm a homeschool mom. I am a fitness enthusiast and I'm completely obsessed with my health since I'm turning 40 this year. It's a little bit too much because that's really all I talk about is my microbiome and my vagus nerve and my muscle mass. My husband is exhausted. So I decided, since I always have so much to say, to start this podcast with someone who has always helped center my anxiety and bring me back to earth. And I think it's important because we're going to be discussing a lot of topics without any filter. And you normally see all these podcasts with people who either have the financial ability to fix their situation instantly, which I do not have. We're on one income, and I want it to really be real because we're going to dig deeper. But this first podcast needs to be uninterrupted with scripts and just so you get to know us. But moving forward, we will have a very detailed podcasts and topics because otherwise, squirrel. So we just want you to get to know us here today, and we're going to talk about the importance of relationships today. So we have at least 15 minutes because all the podcasts are going to be 20 minutes. And Tara is going to give her insights as a therapist on what she's seen on loneliness, maybe if she wants to share that, what people are doing to create good relationships, and like how the hell do you make friends as an adult? Because those are all things that I feel are important to talk about because it can feel very lonely as people get busy with their own lives and they never make time for you. So let Tara take this one away.
Well, relationships are key to everything. And being a marriage and family therapist, our focus is relationships, all kinds of relationships. So your relationship with your parents, your kids, your friends, your partners, colleagues, all of that kind of stuff. That's what we're working on when we work with folks. Specifically, though, humans, even when you're very introverted and you're a homebody, we're wired for connection. We're wired to reach out to others. That doesn't mean you need to have 50 different people you're talking to and hanging out with, but we're wired to connect with others. So we've gotten very isolated in society. Social media gives us that false sense of connectedness. I still love it, but it does create a false sense of that. And we're busy. And I know here in Southern California, we're commuting and we're going all over the place and we've lost community. So, I mean, one of the quickest ways to make friends is to try to plug back into your community somehow, some way, which some of us, the areas you're in, doesn't lend itself towards plugging into the community. But even just making eye contact, being kind when you're out and about, small smiles. I mean, it's silly stuff, but it can help. But there are more intentional ways to do it too. How have you made connections? Because you've moved around a lot more than me.
I've lived in Estonia, in New Jersey, in California, in Ohio, and back to Jersey. I've moved. I looked at my record the other day, like where I moved, even though I moved several times in the state of New Jersey too. I think it was close to 18 times or something like that. It was pretty, like I've had about 18 addresses basically. And as a military spouse, I can, well, now an ex-military, well, I'm still a military spouse, but my husband's a veteran now. I personally feel like it was for me one of as a maybe a foreigner with an accent and all that too is was one of the most loneliest experiences of my life being in a brand new state, and then your husband goes to work. They at least have a direction. They know they have to put their uniform on. They are learning the new position. They like have a goal Monday to Friday, and you're just left there in a new house just to kind of like figure it out on your own. For me, it was very bizarre. So at the time, I did see the doctor on base a lot, and I did have like a can of Xanax. I don't recommend it on anyone, but at times I did take like a quarter of Xanax just so that I can like not feel so much because it was very isolating. And I looked for opportunities for volunteering, and things did not get as good as they did until I found the goats in Southern California. So I volunteered with goats
I remember that.
for like 8 months, and it was one of the most enjoyable times of my life because the goats saved me on so many levels. And not only that, but I really hunkered down in local church. For me, God has always played a huge role on healing myself from the inside out. I don't know how you can live without faith, but I do not judge if you do live without faith. I really hunkered down on my faith. I kneeled daily because I was so alone. It was only me and my pit bull Talon. So it helped me ground myself in a very uncomfortable situation where I didn't know anyone. And the goats, I am telling you, they are, if you can volunteer, I would say especially with animals too, because through volunteering with the goats, you can find people who also love animals, and there's already that instant connection because they're giving back, and animals don't judge you. Like they will take a poop right next to your shoes. If they don't like you, the goats will use their horns to like knock you from the back and you're like, okay, all right, I wish more people would be like that. So that really helped.
I think that's assault, but they can do that.
And then I of course found Tara. Like I think we were only, I don't know, in California like maybe 2 years, and then I already found you, something like that. And I was in Rutgers University, so I was able to take my degree all the way to California because it came available online. So I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree at the time, and I needed to do an internship. And I then met Tara through the fact that I needed to do an internship and write a paper about it and all that. And then I learned about family therapists through the base. And then I saw Tara and two other incredible women. And I was drawn to Tara because I just felt like she was very blunt and like together with herself and just all the positive vibes. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I could get therapy. So between the therapy, goats, occasional Xanax, exercise, and putting myself out there, it was much easier to cope with the new life of a military spouse.
Now,
I
I can't
think I
remember when you moved away from California, what he wasn't out yet. You guys were, he was still serving, and that you guys got stationed in
yeah,
Ohio.
we got stationed in Ohio. Yeah, he had like I forgot how many more years he had left, like
I want to say like 5 or 6.
maybe five or some 5 years still left. So yeah, relationships
For a
are,
while now.
are important.
When I met Kai, she had no kids. And
No
now
kids.
no kids.
I had youth, I had collagen, I had no wrinkles, no kids, no need to homeschool. My heartbeat was not beating outside of my own body.
Nope.
And things were not as stressful because kids add a little bit to the dynamic, but they
Kids
also
change a
center
lot,
you.
Penny.
So, um, in order to make relationships happen, when you're in your, I would say prime, I would say I don't like to say over the hill, but I am feeling 40 already, even though I'm not there yet, but only a few months away. I would say stay genuine to yourself. Like I always tried so hard to watch, maybe I offended that person, or are you good? What's your deal? And now like my, I don't want to curse on this podcast, but my blanks to give really lowered in my, I would say 37 up, and it's only getting better because I know myself as a human being. And if somebody doesn't like me, it does not matter to me at all. But still be kind on the comments if you are commenting and listening in on our podcast, because I still have feelings. Thank you.
Still have feelings. What?
Yes, I do. I do. I'm a very sensitive person, highly sensitive person. So I will delete any hater comments because that's not welcomed here. Thank you.
Open to feedback, not open to hate.
Open to feedback, but kind feedback, like either slow it down or focus on this or that. But if it's not constructive feedback and full of love or something that helps us, it's a waste of my time. So please just listen to something else.
I would encourage everybody to explore your interests and be open to failure. Failure is not the end of the world. Not being good at something still be a worthwhile experience to try it, to show some interest, to ask questions. You don't have to be good at everything.
AKA, I'm not good at video editing, but I did trap down one of my very dear friends who's gonna help me with that. But I am doing
Lucky.
this podcast because, like Tara said, you don't have to be good at everything, but if you don't try, you're never gonna know what it could be.
No, and how do you learn if you don't try something and fail?
So, Tara, I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
Okay.
This is not scripted. What do you, if you can share with us, what do you see people right now like struggling with the most that's very common for like what is the root of many people's anxieties right now in 2026? What do you see?
Uncertainty.
What is
Uncertainty.
uncertainty?
No one knows anything. We literally wake up every day and something new has happened. the rules have changed. Old rules don't seem to apply. We have AI coming out. A lot of people don't know what that's going to mean for job. We're seeing jobs be eliminated, but while the economy stays the same, which is confusing for folks.
Mm,
So there's just a lot of uncertainty and a lot of basic strains that people are uncomfortable. Like no one likes talking about money. No one likes talking about or feel like they're failing if I can't do this or don't do that. And I feel like it's been a slow drain. And slow
mhm.
drains can be really tough to put your finger on and identify. And if it's slow, you're kind of like, why is it that big of a deal? Like, it'll be fine. Okay. But if we can't stop it, it still raises that anxiety, raises the stress levels. But it's a lot of
Um,
anxiety and
I
stress.
love talking about money, and I love money. So if you don't want to talk about money, that's fine, but maybe we should do one podcast on how it is, like, for example, living on one income and still being able to travel and do all that stuff. So that can be one podcast
On one
subject
income.
as we move forward. Because I think what comes to losing jobs, you have to start getting really creative so that you are a little more ahead of AI, which is very hard to do, but try to use it as a tool and realize that you still need farmers, you still need massage therapists, you still need regular therapists. There's so many jobs
Well,
people still need. And AI can't give you that feeling of a human connection. Like that's never gonna be something that in my opinion will take over. But
but people are trying to let AI be a pseudo connection. But I think we're going to find it's the same as what social media did for us. Kind of makes you
which
feel
is
connected for a while. And then all you're like, wait a second, what's happening?
yeah, you feel very disconnected when you're on social media a lot. But I would say uncertainty like is all about lack of control. So people want to feel certain so they know what tomorrow brings. I struggle with that all the time. I was a hypochondriac in college. That can be a whole other podcast. I think it's slowly coming back as I'm approaching 40 because I'm obsessed with my health to the point where you should probably think of other things too, not just like your microbiome and your muscle mass and your bone density. I'm pretty sure it's making a
You gotta
comeback a little
consider.
bit.
Gotta consider them.
But I mean, there are worse things to be obsessed about than your health, because if you want to have a longevity, that's a good thing to do. But um, I think we might even like as we get super popular, because we will, because we're both incredible. Uh, that's my self-confidence. We will possibly later in life take maybe like phone calls and stuff like that, but that's later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we wanted you to get to know us and keep it somewhat short. So every podcast will be about 20 minutes, no more. So, do you have any last words or words of wisdom that, Tara, you want to share that you've learned in your own life on how to just keep everything level and sane, as like it just feels like there's more and more pressure put on, I would say, especially women as we age. Um,
Say
like I don't.
being human is complex. Being a woman is layered. I think sometimes we're making it more difficult than it needs to be, and other times we're oversimplifying things that deserve some more attention.
Can you give us like an example on that?
Well, I mean, like for example, like motherhood. There are thousands of ways to be a wonderful mom, but we get really caught up and really hyper focused and comparing ourselves or processing our own childhoods. I mean, it's just so much goes on while you're just trying to be a mom. And all those kids want is to know that they're safe and fed and loved. And we tend to go and do all of these other things. So we make it, and it is really complex, but it's also really simple. So it's one of those weird worlds to get caught up in.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of pressure to try to be a really good parent. I find myself struggling with that. Can be another podcast because I don't want to go over 20 minutes here, but like I would definitely leave all the listeners with this. Listen in twice a month. We're going to start doing these podcasts twice a month to start with, and realize that you're important, you're valued. And most of these podcasts, if not all, will be more scripted, but we wanted you to get a feel of our personality, who we are, where we're from, what we do. And I want to leave the listener with three things that have always worked for me when the day is super chaotic. Um, this is for females, the first one. Put on the red lipstick, wash your floors, and make tacos for dinner. I don't know why it works, but it just does. So if I have no answers, those are the three things I'll do that day, and everything else can just be chaotic. But those three things are for certain.
Tacos do fix a lot.
So we're gonna say ciao and see you later to all our incredible listeners and viewers on Uspace, aka YouTube. And you're not alone. Don't ever feel like you are alone. Make connections, volunteer with goats, and make tacos for dinner. Thank you very much. This is Conversations Worth Having with Tara and Kai. Bye bye.